Hey, my handsome ladies and gentlemen, this is Shmeaty. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. I know what you guys are thinking. Shmeaty, why is there Magnemite on my screen? Okay, well listen, alright. My friends were concerned about my mental health when I pulled the trigger and built this Pokemon, but hold on. I'm okay. Alright, the pits beckon. And so too does Shadow Magnemite. Now I wanted to run this Pokemon because in this meta, there is a lot of Pokemon that are weak to electric typing, and I felt like what more hilarious way to take advantage of that than an XL level 50 Shadow Magnemite, so that's what I'm going to do. On this first game, I had it on lead, and that was a bad decision, but nevertheless, we are going to lead Shadow Magnemite into Ludicolo, not at all a common Pokemon in this meta, so I wouldn't take it as such, but Discharge is going to do a lot of damage if the Ludicolo no shield, so they opt not to. Now, they do have enough for a potential Scald here, so I am going to shield up. It is the Scald, and Ludicolo has done most of my health with just the just the fast move of Bubble. That's pretty sad, but in comes a Victini. Victini going to be met with the Quagsire, and this is not enough for a V-Create, at least I don't think, so I am going to no-shield, and now Quagsire going to be able to retaliate with a Mud Bomb. Anything I throw here is probably going to be shielded by the Victini, never mind. Victini just says, you know what, getting that little bit of Psyshock chip is all I needed. Back in comes the Ludicolo, maybe forgetting what fast move it's on, but this is going to be a difficult farm down for them if they decide to go for it. I'm going for the Stone Edge. They are going to have to shield this up. Stone Edge is going to get the shield from the Ludicolo, but we get the combo play with the Magnemite, and my opponent was not expecting it. Magnemite able to get the Discharge nearly to KO the Ludicolo, but unfortunately they're going to be able to hang on with 1 HP. We're fully investing in the Magnemite. Please don't debuff me. They debuff me, but it doesn't matter. They've got a Charizard in the back, and Discharge from the Magnemite. 148 attack stat. Down goes the Charizard. GG's to this trainer. Alright, getting into the next one. It's going to be Cradily leading into another Shadow Charizard. This one going to be on Dragon Breath. The Dragon Breaths, since it's been reworked, don't do that much chip to Cradily, so I'm very comfortable with staying in, and if this is a Blast Burn, I will be able to survive, but it is just going to be the Air Cutter. We're able to hang on very well from the Air Cutter and now go for the Rock Tomb. I think there's about a 0% chance that a Rock Tomb went no shielded. They are going to stay in, fire off yet another Air Cutter, but I don't think they got the boost on the first one, so this one will do less than the original Air Cutter. So yet again, we're going to no shield with our Cradily. They attempt to catch a Rock Tomb onto their Gastrodon, but hold on. I reacted. This is a Grass Knot. Are they going to shield it? They do not. Down goes Gastro in one shot. They really needed me to completely bozo throw the Rock Tomb as soon as I got it, but I didn't click my move as soon as I got it, and their switch was pretty obvious there. So now Charizard is going to get farmed down by the Magnemite. In comes an Abomasnow in the back. They see us reach the double up and top left. GG's. Okay, I kept this battle in not because of the content or that it was a particularly good game, but because of this trainer's name. It's Waifu Me Up. So Waifu Me Up, if you're watching this, shoutouts to you. Submit some videos to the channel. I'll feature it. I don't care if you're running Lopunny, Gardevoir, and Meowscarada on the same team. Anyway, we are going to see the Charjabug lead up against the Cradily. Attempted catch of the Cradyly's Rock Tomb onto the Empoleon. Empoleon met with a Shadow Quagsire, but the sneaky surprise Mud Bomb always catches these Empoleons off guard. And from here, I'm very happy to just no-shield here. The Charjabug has a horrible matchup into the Magnemite and the Cradily with a loaded Rock Tomb as well. And we've got quite a bit of stored energy on our Cradily, so I'm not at all upset with just bringing in the Cradily here. They bring in their own. I rebank a move, then bring in Magnemite, and it is Magnemite time. Magnemite going to be able to no-shield the Rock Tomb from the Cradily. It does half of its health, but it doesn't matter. We're going to be able to get all this Thundershock chip, and before they're able to get their next move off, fire off our Magnet Bomb. Are they going to shield it? Are they not? Magnet Bomb gets the shield from the Cradily. They do have the move now. But I think this is a pretty good time for me to shield because although I am going to be -2 here, I can fire off my Magnet Bomb. This Cradily is shieldless, so this Magnet Bomb is going to do a lot of damage unprotected from the Magnet Bomb. Cradily gets rocked, and now in comes the Charjabug for the snipe. I don't think I need my Magnemite anymore, but we're double shielding it anyway. We've got the move loaded, and we've got a guaranteed win con if we can just snipe the Charjabug with our own Cradily energy. The Rock Tomb nearly KOs. It doesn't need to KO quite yet, because even if they make the X-Scissor at -1 attack, this is nowhere near X-Scissor range. So X-Scissor connects, gets us down into the red. We've got our own Rock Tomb loaded, and we've got the move loaded with our Magnemite. This time I did make sure we actually had the move loaded. GG's to this trainer. Alright, on to the next matchup against 37 Nuggets. It's going to be a terrible lead. Our Cradily up against the Fortress. Fortress is going to prompt me to immediately safe switch into my Quagsire. I'm going to fire off a Mud Bomb immediately. They attempt to catch onto Jellicent. And this is okay for us because we were likely going to throw this move at the Jellicent anyway. And now before they're able to make the Shadow Ball, we can make the Stone Edge, which would do a pretty hefty amount of damage onto the Jellicent. It's up to them if they want to shield it or not, and they do. Don't think the Stone Edge does exactly 50%, but a shield there is a pretty strong play by them. They are going to go for the Surf, but it's not going to be enough. I get to the Mud Bomb, and it's a CMP tie. So now I can easily just no-shield my Quagsire and farm down with either the Magnemite or the Cradily. I think the farm with the Magnemite is going to be more impactful just because there's a Fortress in play. So I'm going to bring in the Magnemite, and now I really hope they bring in that Fortress, but they have a Quagsire in the back. Upon seeing that, I probably should have just started to reach for the top left button, but I'm going to fight it out to the bitter end. I switch in my Cradily. They bring in their Fortress. The Sand Tomb doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does allow these Bug Breaths to start ripping through my Cradily. I'm going to be able to get to my Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb onto the Fortress is going to do a little bit of damage onto it, and now they're going to be able to reach a further move. I kind of have to shield this and look to pivot back into my Magnemite, but even if I can do that, it's not going to be the most helpful for me because Magnemite is going to be stuck up against a Quagsire in the end game, and I've given up a shield, meaning that a shield advantage isn't even possible. I bring in my Magnemite. We're getting torn apart by these damn mud shots. I'm going to go for the Magnet Bomb. Come on, we need a miracle. Oh my goodness, they still have this shield intact. And here, this game is over. I'm going to play it out like I said to the bitter end, but there's no use in shielding. The Quagsire has us beat. GG's to this trainer. Getting into the next one, it is going to be Cradily leads into Shadow Diggersby. Now this is okay. It's kind of a neutral matchup, all things considered. With Magnemite in the back, I'm definitely happy to see this Pokemon on the lead. And now we can play this out. They can go for a Fire Punch on 6. I thought I lost count at the start of the match, which would have been impressive. That would have been a new feat for me. But I'm going to fire off my Grass Knot. They are able to catch it onto the Ferret, which is a very good call by them. They anticipated when I was going to throw. Now I can just go for a Rock Tomb onto the Ferret, though, and leave them in farm down range. And I'm very happy with whatever outcome I get from this. I should just stay in with my Cradily here, look for the full acid down. And Diggersby's still going to have a hard time getting rid of the Cradily from this range. They fire off the Swift for some reason, and we are going to be able to get the full acid farm down. Now, if the Diggersby comes back in, it's not going to be very safe. I'm going to no-shield whatever this is, and it is going to be another Fire Punch. I don't know if this Diggersby, like, even has Scorching Sands at this point, or they heard, like, it got nerfed this season. They were like, okay, nerf means it's terrible. But nevertheless, it's going to be pretty tough for them to get this farm down. I'm going to be able to make a last-second Rock Tomb. And you know what? I'm going for the Rock Tomb here just because even if they don't shield it, the Diggersby is now debuffed. And what is that? Okay, well, we got to bring Magnemite into whatever that is. Magnemite up against the Shadow Zapdos. I really wish I had one of these. They should do a better job of making these more accessible in like future events and stuff like that, but nevertheless, Magnemite double resisting the Drill Peck sure didn't look double resisted to me. That looks super effective, but nevertheless, it's a Magnemite. We are going to be able to no-shield whatever the Diggersby throws. It is going to be a Fire Punch, which does get the KO onto the Magnemite, but it's a Diggersby down 2 shields up against a Quagsire. Although we don't have Aqua Tail here, doesn't really matter. Like, the Diggersby's win con would be like us on Acid Spray and Stone Edge, maybe. I think they would still lose, but I'm going to go for the Mud Bomb. Mud Bomb onto the Diggersby is going to get them into the yellow health, and now I've got the back-to-back Mud Bomb, so throwing Mud Bomb number 2 onto the Diggersby, just getting them ever so slightly lower. You're going to be able to fire off a move here, and we can just shield straight Fire Punch baits, which apparently this Diggersby trainer loves to do quite a lot, so we're going to be able to win the final CMP tie up against the Diggersby, and that'll be a good game. Alright, getting into the next match, it's going to be Cradily leading into Degene. Our whole team has quite a lot of play into Degene, so very happy to see it here. And now they're going to safe switch into Cradily, or excuse me, into Shadow Kingdra, which is another Pokemon that's not going to do particularly well into Cradily or the rest of our team. I'm going to go for the Rock Tomb, fire off one further acid, then bring in Magnemite. With their attack debuff, these Dragon Breaths aren't doing nearly as much damage as you would think they would, and then they're going to be able to fire off a Swift. An Outrage probably would have just straight up KO'd me there. I'm going to elect to let this move go with my Magnemite, because if they've got the surprise Gastrodon in the back, I really don't want to deal with having to like shield up my Magnemite only for it to get KO'd by 2 Mud Slaps or whatever. So I recognize I'm not going to be able to make the Magna Bomb, so I'm going to be able to make the Discharge. There is a 5 energy differential, so you can get to the Discharge in 5-4, as opposed to the Magna Bomb, which is always going to be straight 5. Nevertheless, they're going to be able to fire off what's likely a parabolic charge bait, but it is actually the full send of the play rough. They kind of needed that play rough to land. They're going to be able to fire off one further move, but we know this is just going to be the parabolic charge now. So we're going to no-shield this very effortlessly. What is happening to me today? In comes Araquanid, and Araquanid just cannot get through the rest of this team. Araquanid does hit the Cradily for super effective damage, but Cradily is able to reach the back-to-back Rock Tombs, thanks in large part to the farm down we got of the Degene. Now they are down both of their shields, and they are going to have to try to get rid of the Quagsire with their Bug Bites and Bug Buzz combo, or I guess in this case they have Water Pulse, but it just doesn't matter. This Stone Edge is going to do quite a lot of damage onto the Araquanid. They don't even survive it. In comes the Degene, only to get farmed down. GG's. Getting into the next match, it is going to be Cradily, leading into a pretty much triple core breaker. It is going to be Ferrothorn, and I say a triple core breaker because I'm pretty sure a Power Whip does like 1000% to the Magnemite, but we are going to be able to fire off a Rock Tomb onto the Ferrothorn, and since they decided to commit to good timing there, which is generally an advised play, they are going to allow us to get the Rock Tomb debuff, which means that we can no-shield 2 Power Whips very effortlessly. Now we are going to be able to reach a further Rock Tomb, and this Rock Tomb is going to start chipping this Ferrothorn low into a range where they really don't want to be. This is a pretty uncomfortable range when you are resisting all of the moves from the Cradily. We're at about like the same amount of health here, and I can either look to commit a shield or not. They are -2, so I might just live, but it is going to be the Power Whip that is going to be enough to KO. In comes the Magnemite. My game freezes for a while. I don't know what's happening here. It looks like they're able to get the switch into Azumarill, but I'm so happy that Azumarill is here because I have these super effective discharges, and these aren't like Unova Stunfisk discharges. No, that hit like a Thunderbolt. Azu, very bulky, notoriously bulky Pokemon, and I'm going to be able to connect with a second discharge or grab a shield from the Azu, and now, since they throw their energy here, I'm very confident that Magnemite's going to be able to get the one shield farm down of this Azu. We're going to go for it. Azu looking to make another move. We get the Thunder Shock down with the Magnemite. In comes a Skeledirge. I see the Incinerate, and I'm out of there immediately. In comes Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is going to look to make a Power Whip onto our Quagsire. We need a hero here. This is going to be very close, and we do have one shield remaining apiece. I am going to look to commit to firing off my Mud Bomb on good timing up against the Skeledirge. I feel as if the Skeledirge's win con is a very obviously telegraphed Torch Song boost into Shadow Ball landing combo here, but I kind of have to go for the shield there because if they Shadow Ball me, I might just lose on the spot. Speaking of losing on the spot, I am shieldless up against that Shadow Ball, so I need that chip from the Mud Shot to put this Skeledirge in single discharge range. The Magnemite gets the KO. We had the 2 moves loaded there, but it wouldn't have mattered if we didn't get the KO there. Getting into the next game, it is going to be Cradily up against a Shadow Kingdra. Pretty commonly, they are going to switch into a Crustle. I'm going to fire off a move immediately here. This is not enough for the Rock Wrecker, which I don't think they would throw anyway, but it is going to only be an X-Scissor because it is 10 turns to an X-Scissor. It's a CMP tie, so we are going to fire off our Mud Bomb. Mud Bomb connects onto the Crustle, and Crustle is going to be able to make a further move here, but hold on. So far, they're ABA to Magnemite, and that looks like a Thundershock farm down if ever I've seen one. In comes the Magnemite, looking for the farm down, gets the 4. Thundershock farm down. What do they have in the back? They're thinking about it quite a lot. I need to really see what it is, because again, if it's Gastrodon, we just lose immediately. If we lose like a third of our health from a single Mud Slap, we are going to fire off a discharge at the Kingdra. Kingdra is going to have to shield this up, as it would do pretty much all of their health. They are going to go for the Swift, and I'm pretty happy with just double shielding the Magnemite from here, because they're playing this as if they're very weak to the Magnemite in the back. You're bringing in a Kingdra down energy to the Magnemite that you know is going to outpace you to 3 moves, and something really must not want to see the Magnemite in the back. We banked the discharge for later, and now we're going to bring in the Cradily to absorb whatever damage the Kingdra throws, but it is going to be the Outrage, so our shield is going to be the one absorbing that damage. We do have a Rock Tomb here. We overfarm as much as humanly possible. We fire off the Rock Tomb onto the Kingdra. Kingdra is going to get taken out there. In the back, they've got the Empoleon, but there's just nothing Empoleon's going to be able to do here. We're able to get to the Grass Knot. I don't even think this chip is necessary to get rid of this Empoleon. It's a Shadow as well. Yeah, that discharge was doing 100% easily. I'm going to bring in my Magnemite here, and now I've got the discharge. The discharge KOs the Empoleon. GG's to this trainer. getting into the next one, it is going to be a Cradily mirror match, and I really can't tell what's in back here, so we're just going to look to play this out as best we can. We're going to fire off a Rock Tomb as soon as we can on CMP. What the hell was that? Why did I look like I got an extra acid there and also got my move off? I'm not sure. You know what? One turn is fixed, Copium. Anyway, we are going to be able to be the purveyor of this initial matchup because we win CMP, and this matchup is going to largely depend on who wins CMP. I'm going for a Grass Knot, looking to go straight for the jugular onto the Cradily. They are going to no-shield it, but I think since they no-shielded that, I might just be able to get this acid farm down. Well, they are going to be a Rock Tomb degen, so I don't think that's quite going to be the case, but I can still be able to just put up a shield here and look for the acid farm down this way. Rock Tomb is going to grab my final shield. I get the acid farm down on very low health, and now they are going to bring in a Charizard on Dragon Breath, and they've got the Kingdra in the back. Hold on. This is a game that Magnemite might just be able to pull us out of. Mud Bomb gets the shield from the Kingdra. I need to be able to get another shield off of this Kingdra. It's a non-shadow Kingdra, so investing a shield there is a very interesting play when you have a Charizard and you were up a shield. I'm going to fire off another Mud Bomb onto the Kingdra. I need this off my screen expeditiously. They are not going to shield up a Kingdra a second time. I'm looking to make another Mud Bomb. We're going to get farmed down with the move. And now I bring in the Cradily because Cradily needs to be able to either get the Rock Tomb off on this Pokemon or be able to farm them down. In comes Magnemite. Magnemite looking to potentially get the Thundershock down here. They're going to go for the Swift with their Kingdra. Kingdra is going to stay in, allowing us to get the farm down. That is a massive misplay from this trainer. Back in comes the Charizard. Charizard's not on Ember, they're on Dragon Breath, so that means this is likely going to be an Air Cutter. I'm going to shield it up anyway because it's an Air Cutter from a Charizard. We got the back-to-back discharges, and there is no way Charizard's going to be able to win CMP up against the Magnemite, even if they have the move Discharge. Back-to-back thrown, one for the shield, one for the Charizard. This game is over. GG's to this trainer. Well, maybe not so much of a GG in this trainer's mind because they left the game, but Discharge connects onto the Charizard eventually, and we're on to the final game of the video where Cradily is going to lead into Empoleon, a pretty tough lead for us. We are going to immediately switch into our Quagsire as most Empoleons are lulled into a false sense of security, thinking that the Quagsire is on the standard Aqua Tail and Stone Edge moveset. However, it could be a pretty obvious play if I'm pivoting here that I might be on Mud Bomb, so they are going to be able to bring in their Gastrodon. Baiting out the Gastrodon here is absolutely massive. Unless they're double slap, this is a pretty good sign for us. The other slappers are a little more obscure in Toedscruel and Torterra, which people don't really run as much, at least not from my experience. I'm going to be able to get a massive amount of damage onto this Gastrodon here, and they're going to be able to fire off a move. But we know that the Magnemite at least has play into the lead Pokemon. It's a Water Pulse, doesn't do a lot of damage, and now I'm just tapping my Magnemite button. I don't care what it is. It's going to be the Empoleon coming back in. Empoleon is going to be able to fire off a move onto the Cradily. I'm going to no-shield it. I don't care. I know they're going to outpace me. I know this is going to be a Hydro Cannon, but Cradily lives. Cradily holds onto the Hydro Cannon. We're going to be able to fire off the Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb is going to do a sizable amount of damage onto the Empoleon. They shield it up. In comes the Magnemite. They've got a Dunsparce in the back, and that's not a Pokemon that's going to be able to outpace this Magnemite with the energy lead that we have. Magnet Bomb onto the Dunsparce will do a sizable amount of damage. They can't afford to no-shield too, and now I probably could have opted to just throw the Discharge there, but the Empoleon doesn't have any residual energy, so I can shield up both drill runs from this Pokemon very comfortably. I'm firing off Discharge number 1. They have to shield up this Discharge, otherwise they are going to be in a very bad spot. If they don't shield it up, they just lose immediately, but even if they do shield it up, they're going to lose immediately because they have no shields up against the Magnemite with their Empoleon. I overfarm as much as I dare. Now comes another Discharge going to land onto that Empoleon's forehead. Down goes the Empoleon. Back in comes the Dunsparce, but we've got the Discharge once again loaded for the Dunsparce. Dunsparce is not going to be able to hang on from here. GG's to this trainer. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. Shadow Magnemite, definitely not a Pokemon I recommend building for this league or any league for that matter. But since I have the opportunity to showcase it, I wanted to show you guys some absolute big boy damage. And if you guys thought like Magnezone was glassy, Magnemite absolutely laughs at Magnezone's attack stat. Magnezone on average, we're looking at like 133 attack stat. No, Magnemite 15 attack points higher, so definitely not a Pokemon that messes around. Even when those Thunder Shocks are connecting for neutral damage, you can see the HP bars visibly going down. With all that being said, thank you once again so much for watching. I've been Shmeaty. I hope to see you all again next time, and have a good rest of your day. See ya.